Hey guys, today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I want to talk about career paths and choices and maybe open up some of you guys' mind to what different paths you can take today compared to this traditional way of getting a job and a career and then retirement and so on. In today's world, you have the opportunity to do so much more things than that, and I think with that comes almost an unlimited option for growth that you don't really have in the traditional sense. So I made these two bars here. So for example, you have the traditional, you go to school or whatever, and then you get a job, and you work your job for however long until it's time to retire. And this was the path that I was on all the way up until I was maybe 26 or something like that. I went to school, I did my bachelor degree in industrial design, then I did my master's degree in car design in Italy. I flew back home to Sweden. I didn't have a job or anything. I applied to probably at least 500 locations all around the world, in Europe, in Australia, in the US. And I eventually managed to get at least I got a response from someone in Florida. And that's how I ended up in Florida when I first started working as an industrial designer. So what you can take from that is, even though this was back in 2011, and I'm not sure if it's more competitive today or not, but if you really want to go after what you want, you need to 10x your output or outreach to the right people. If you just send, for example, 10 emails to 10 different companies, you don't expect any results from that, because I sent over 500, and I can count on my both hands how many replies I got, even saying no. So if you want to go that route, it is going to be a pretty hard route to go, because you need to really put in the effort. But that's the whole thing. You need to do that whether you go the traditional route, or if you go what I like to call, I'm not going to call this unconventional or controversial, I'm going to call it the individual route, which I decided to go at somewhere at this point right here. When I graduated from college, I had my first job. I actually got a second job, an even better job, design job in Florida after my first one there. Moved to the other side to the Miami area, and I was making really good money at that company. But all the time, I was thinking like, all this effort that I'm putting into this company, I could put all that effort into building something on my own. And the thing is, here we had the performance reviews every single 6 months or something like that, where you need to make sure that you were doing your job properly and so on. And I always felt like I always wanted to work for myself somehow. I just didn't know how to do that yet. And that's kind of when I started to think about, what can I do that where I still own my time, which was super important for me to own my own time and decide what I want to do with my time, and not have a schedule that I have to come in at this point and then I leave work at this point, no matter how busy or not busy the day is. I felt like there was a lot of time wasted when I was working a job, and I didn't feel right about that. And I also didn't see the growth going anywhere crazy for a very long time. It's gonna take I don't know how long to get to the next level within your career. And then I started to focus more on my individual path right here. So I went to school again, and then college right here. And once I'm graduated, I got my first job. As I said, I flew back home to Sweden. I lived with my brother. I think he had a one-bedroom apartment, really cramped, and I was desperate to get a job. And then I got this job in Florida, and I said yes immediately, and I bought a one-way ticket to US, not knowing anybody, and that's how I ended up in the United States. And then I got the other job at the Miami area in South Florida as well. But this is the point where I started to think about YouTube, for example. Can I build a YouTube channel doing things that I enjoy doing, and at the same time put in the same amount of effort, or even, I mean, when you work for yourself, a weird thing happens. At least it happened for me, because when I worked for a company, I did my best, but there was so much time wasted that I got frustrated just sitting and doing nothing. And when I took the jump of quitting my job there in 2016 and go full time and just focus full time on doing what I do now, which is YouTube videos and online teaching, you know, the effort that I put into this just I felt a lot more passionate about this type of work. And it all makes sense because because I had control of my time and I also had control of my growth. The effort I put in is the result that I'm gonna get out. So the more effort I put in here, the better results I'm gonna get. And that's not really the case when you're working a job up until you retire. And then what are you gonna do? For me, retirement always sounded so boring. It wasn't something that I just wanted to grind for 40 years doing stuff that I really didn't enjoy and then retire and do nothing. That's not how my brain is set up. I always want to continue to work on things that I like to work on, so YouTube fit this system better for me. I loved sketching. I loved the sketching part of my job, so I wanted to kind of transform that into doing something on my own. And that's when I started to do YouTube tutorials, the redesigns and stuff like that. I didn't start doing that until I think end of 2019 or 2020. So it's only been 2.5 years of doing that, and that's when it really took off, because I think I kind of took all the skills that I've learned over the years as a designer and applied it into some more entertaining aspect of it. And I am still having a lot of fun doing the redesigns and talking about car design. It's what I'm passionate about. So my point here is, if you decide that this is the route for you, then that's fantastic. I mean, that's great. Just keep doing what you're doing and stay at your job if you really enjoy doing that. But if you have these thoughts that I had, that there has to be maybe something a little bit different than this that can still work out, then I want to open your eyes to what is possible today with today's social media and the outreach that we have just by being connected to the internet. And the thing is, the more you share of your work, the better. It doesn't have to be everything, doesn't have to be perfect. Just share your work and try to be as helpful to your audience as possible with your skills that you've learned somewhere else. And that's when I thought that YouTube is the thing I'm gonna do. And the thing when you take this jump is, as I said, the effort you put in is the result that you're gonna get out. So if this trajectory looks something like this, with a very tiny curvature outwards of growth, this is the growth kind of width. Then if you start a YouTube channel, for example, or do Instagram or do online courses teaching people what you know, the growth can actually go something like this. You go out of college, then you start producing content somewhere around this point. And if you really put in the effort of doing this, then your potential for growth really can take off into whatever you want it to be. I don't know if this was a helpful video, but I just wanted to share that this was my journey and my mental state when I was working as a designer, and that's why I don't work as a designer right now. Because owning my time is #1 priority for me, and I'm also, a lot happier doing what I do now than I was sitting at my desk at my job and sketching cylinders all day that didn't really feel like I was using my time in the best way. So I hope this hopefully opened up your eyes to what you can do with the skills that you already have, applying them into something that you build yourself, and all the effort you put in is directly related to your business and not somebody else's business. Let me know if this was helpful by commenting below, and if this is topics that you want me to expand on, careers and building YouTube channels and so on, just let me know as well in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.